today. So this idea of luxury, interactive. What is luxury? Go. High end. Expensive. Oh, now I know y'all don't use your inside voice with me. Come on. Right?
Top 10%.
Top 10%. What is luxury? Let's go. Bougie. Oh, wealthy. Hold on. Time out. Now, you all know, have we heard the saying that there are no such thing as dumb answers or dumb questions and all that stuff? That's a lie. Hold on. There's a second part. There are dumb questions, dumb answers in a safe space. So the reason I'm here before you today is because my coaches, my mentors, they allowed me to ask dumb questions in a safe space, right? So this right here, every dumb question that you could possibly ask, I want you to ask it here because this is a safe space, all right? Now, I'm gonna be honest with you. We're gonna laugh at you, we're gonna judge you, but we're gonna thank you because we had that same dumb question that we didn't wanna ask ourselves, all right? And so Donna, she was just throwing out some dumb questions to me earlier that her friend told her to ask before she got here, that her friend told her to ask before she arrived. So this definition of luxury, what is it? Let's go. What is luxury? Waterfront. Perspective. What's your name, ma'am? Rebecca. Now, I forgot. Alabama, I say ma'am. That is a show of respect. It does not mean that you are almost in the grave, okay? So when I say ma'am, so on the weekends, I spend time with kindergartners through fifth graders. All of my babies are still ma'am and sir, okay? So understand that when I say ma'am, when I say sir, you all will not hear me say sir to Dave, right? Because I said respect, not age, right? Perspective, what else? What is luxury? Let's go. Lifestyle. Experience. Depends on the person. All right, exclusive. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to look at a couple of definitions of luxury. We have to look at the textbook definition, and then we're going to ball that up and throw it in the trash. So we're going to throw a lot of stuff in the trash today. All right, are we okay with that? Yeah. All right, so good. Man, I'm glad your significant others or your partners aren't here. Sheesh. All right, luxury. Free or habitual indulgence in. You all don't have to write this. It's not that important. Free or habitual indulgence in or enjoyment of comforts and pleasures in addition to those necessary for a reasonable standard of well-being, a pleasure out of the ordinary allowed to oneself. Everyone got the idea of what the book says. So let me ask you, how many of you, according to that definition, live a luxurious life? If we're being honest, are you afforded things that are available to you outside a reasonable standard of well-being, right? How many of you have air conditioning? Luxurious, right? Running water, luxurious. Unfortunately, iPhone, I'm team Android. That's why I say it like that. Hold on now, let's not start a fight. I still got the microphone, okay? Android, iPhone, do you all start to see what I'm saying? So here's what I'm going to tell you. Many of you probably feel like an imposter that you don't deserve to work with the affluent or to be in the luxury niche or niche. All right, so let's just address this right out front. I say niche. Some of you might drink your tea like this. You might say niche. Well, here's why I say niche. My coach, he told me early on that niches bring riches, right? Niches bring riches just doesn't sound as cool. So I say niche. So if you say niche, you probably say tomato as well. We're totally fine with that. We'll judge you at lunch, all right? So if we start looking at this definition of luxury, we immediately start to see maybe we're not that far from, Donna, the people that we want to work with. Are we okay with that? Because I know one of the biggest things, how many of you have sold some type of real estate so far? Hands down. How many of you are waiting and looking to sell your first luxury listing or work with your first affluent client? Anyone here? The only reason you have not, I'm willing to bet in the majority of cases, is this right here. The biggest deterrent from you all working with who you could, and I'm going to say should be working with, is this right here. And so we're going to get your competence level up in our time together, because once you're competent, you become more confident. Once you're more confident, you become more competent. And then there's this endless loop, this endless cycle. Everyone okay with that? So the goal after we leave here today is not for you to say, Neal did a great job. We love his bow ties. He was sort of funny with bad jokes. The goal is for you to know what the first step, second step, third step is. And here's what I will do. I will guarantee that you'll know what you need to do when you leave here to start working with affluent clientele and selling luxury properties. Fair? I'm going to make a promise to you all. I'm going to give you all everything I have in our time together. So I would lie and say I'm going to give you 110%. I don't have 110%. I'll give you my 100 though. Okay? I'm going to ask you all to give it back to me. Fair? All right. So luxury. Do I have permission to skip around and give you all what you need as we're going? What do you all want to get from our time together? What do you all want to get? Because I know what I want to give you. But here's what I want you all to understand. If I give you something that you don't need, our time has been wasted. All right? So what do we want?
The three things
what you just said.
Yeah.
3 things. Okay, got it. Roger that. What else? Confidence. Got it. So we're going to get confidence through our competence. So we're going to give you that. And so then once you become competent and your confidence level grows and increases, you're going to beat almost every other realtor, every other professional, every other service provider that you meet, hands down. And it's going to be small things. We're going to make small tweaks, ladies and gentlemen, very small tweaks. And here's what I will tell you. I'm probably not going to teach you all anything today. Say what? I'm probably not going to teach you anything today. My goal is probably just to remind you of some things that you've heard, some things you've read that you've just forgotten in our plus years or days or weeks that we've been in. Okay? What else do we want? Anything else that we want specifically? Yes, ma'am. More money. Come on, can we say amen? Now, here's what I want to say. If you are not in here to be handsomely or beautifully rewarded for your job, you might be in the wrong room. If you like working for free, I mentioned I'm a broker. I'm taking volunteers all day long, right? I'm going to make a statement right now that might be controversial, all right? I told you I'm the son of a sailor, so I might say some bad words. I'm going to use words like accountability, words like no, those things that we don't like hearing or saying. But here's a controversial statement. Everyone needs a realtor, but you don't have to be everyone's realtor. So what I mean by that is, do first-time buyers need realtors? Absolutely. Do you have to be a realtor for a first-time buyer? No. Does that make you a bad person because you don't work in first-time buyer niche? No, it does not. Does it make you a bad person because you aren't overly concerned with affordable housing? It does not make you a bad person. Are we okay? That's the first thing. Give yourself, not that you all need permission, but you all have Uncle Neal's permission to not care about everyone in the real estate world. Who's the first person we should care about? Yourself. Can I tell you that no one's going to care about you and your business as much as you do? I don't care how many committees you're on. I don't care how many social media posts you put out. If you're not selling, you're not making money. You're not going to be able to provide. Okay, we're good there? All right. So what else besides more money? Anything else you all want to get out of today before we jump right in? Yes, ma'am.
Simply the how-to.
The how-to, the simple stuff. Like don't make it complicated. Just tell me, Neal, what I've got to do and I will do. Now, if you find out what you have to do today, will you do it? Okay, of course. Good stuff. That means I'm in the right room. All right, we're good so far. Can we dive in?
Yeah.
All right. Vocabulary. Vocabulary is very important. Can I tell you all some words that we're going to throw away right now? This is the good stuff. If you're taking notes, this is the stuff to write down. We are never, ever, ever using the word what?
Can't.
No, we're talking about when we're working with the affluent. We're never using the word. Come on. I know y'all talk. Y'all are realtors. All y'all do is talk. Come on. We're never using the word what? Rich. We are never using the word rich when we're working with affluent clientele. Why are we never using the word rich? Man, y'all just whisper. Man. Why are we never using the word rich? Okay, one, well, hold on. So it's the exact opposite. So first, rich is subjective, right? A rich person never feels rich. Why not? Because someone always has more. There's always a bigger boat in the marina, right? So we are never using the word rich. So I'm going to give you some words that we're never going to use and some words that we love and then some that we like. So we never use the word rich unless you are rich. If you're rich, you can say, I'm hanging out with my rich friends this weekend. It's one of those cultural things, right? There are things that ladies can say to each other that a guy better not say. There are things that Hispanics and Latins can say to each other that if you're outside that you can't say, right? Oh, I forgot. We got to be honest in here. That's how we're going to grow. That's how we're going to make more money. Okay. So unless you and your rich friends hang out, don't use the word rich. All right. We are not using the word wealthy for the same reason. What might we use? The number one, the favorite word of the affluent, instead of rich or wealthy, what do we want to use in all of our conversation? Oh, come on. What was that? Successful. Because if you make a business working with successful individuals, how many of you in here want to be successful? How many of you have no qualms about saying that you want to be successful? But you might feel a type of way and say, well, hey, I want to be rich. I want to be wealthy. So if we say successful, successful is the number one word that we love. If you say successful, you are speaking the language that gets to their heart. It bypasses their head. It gets to their heart level. Right? So we want to speak in the language that's going to resonate with them deepest. So we don't say rich, we don't say wealthy, we will say successful. All right, we will also say affluent or affluent. Successful is number one. Affluent is like a distant number two. Now, these are things this is going to be counterintuitive. It's countercultural too. So what we see right now are examples of glittering rich, right? The showy, the flash. That is not our typical successful individual. All right. And so we're going to get to where do we find them? How do we interact? And then how do we communicate with them? So number one, we never say rich or wealthy. We love what word? And distant second is affluent or affluent. Ooh, I'm with some pinky drinkers. Okay, I like it. Affluent. All righty. So how many of you have done a CMA in the past 3 months? Guess what? Everyone, take your hand, ball up the CMA, throw it in the trash. Like, what? You all will never do another CMA in your life. CMAs are trash. They're in the garbage. They died today. Are you all okay with that? Some of you, I just ruined your whole day, right? You're like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? I pride myself on my free CMA, right? CMA is dead. We will never use the word comparative market analysis again. We are going to use POV, professional opinion of value. Do you all see the difference? What is comparative market analysis? If I am a luxury buyer or seller, if I'm a seller, even in a general marketplace, does anything compare to what I have as a product? No. Does any seller think that the next door neighbor's home that is exactly built by the same architect, builder, same year, layout, do they think that house compares to theirs and it sold yesterday? No, because I haven't lived in it. So by saying comparative market analysis, that's industry jargon. We want to speak where they understand the words that resonate. Professional opinion of value. Who's compiling a POV? A professional. Do we start to see? Now, if you're into NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, all of these little things, it makes a huge difference. If I say, give me time to prepare or compile my complimentary professional opinion of value, then we'll meet during our consultation. We set different expectations. So, professional. How many of you are professionals? Don't look at the person next to you. All right. Professional. Opinion. What's the beautiful thing about an opinion besides everyone has one, right? An opinion can be disputed. An opinion opens up, it sets the expectation. I'm a professional, but this is my opinion. Let's have a conversation about it. And then the successful and the affluent, they do not care about price. They care about value. Do we see how immediately we're already speaking to the things they care about? We're speaking their language, professional opinion of value. Everyone got it? Say, I got it. All right. Next thing, what do we typically use in our CMA? We use this 4-letter word, this nasty little 4-letter word called comps. Comps just died. Comps died with the POV. With the CMA. So we're no longer using comps, comparables. We're not using comps. What we are going to use instead, we're going to use relevant. Do you all immediately see how it might not be comparable, but it's relevant? So relevant sale, relevant listing, relevant contract, relevant property, but we want to use the word relevant because in our opinion of value, a property might be relevant for a number of different reasons. It might be relevant because it sold yesterday. It might be relevant because it's the next door neighbor. It might be relevant because it's the same size. Are we understanding? And then you can defend your position as a professional in your consultation. You're going to say, well, here's why I chose these relevant properties. This one is relevant because of the size, of the year, of the location, proximity. This one might be relevant because it's waterfront. Are we okay with those ideas? Yeah. All right, so we have relevant. We are not going to use pending sales. Pending sales just died. That's industry jargon. You guys are like, he's up there killing everything, right? Pending sales died. Instead of pending sales, what we're going to use, real buyers. How many of you, do I have any members of the Institute for Luxury Home Marketing? Any Institute for Luxury Home Marketing? So this probably sounds familiar to us, right? So we are not using pending sales. We're using, no, I'm sorry. I lied to you. We're not using real buyers for pending sales. We are using contracts signed. Contracts signed or signed contracts. So for pending sales, we're no longer using pending sales. So this month we had 13 contracts signed or signed contracts. That's very simple. We want to break it all the way down so that everyone can understand. So we'll know we will have done our job when you're so good at what you do that you can communicate to a 5-year-old who can then communicate your same message to a 5-year-old. If you haven't broken it down that far, we don't understand it good enough, okay? So pending sales are dead. We're replacing that with contract signed. Closed sales, we're going to replace with real buyers. Closed sales, we're no longer saying closed sales, we're saying real buyers. And here's how we would explain that during a consultation. We would say this month we had 13 contracts signed. We also had 9 real buyers. Mr. Seller, here's what that means. We had 9 individuals who liked the property so much that they were willing to part with their cash to get the keys. We want to make this personal. We want to humanize real estate, all right? So now when we say contract signed is going to be for pending. For closed sale, we're going to say real buyers. And then for active, we're just going to say available. So you can say active or available instead of properties. Now, depending on who your audience is, if they're coming from the Northeast, when you say active, it might be offerings, available, it might be trades. So if you're dealing with the Northeast, instead of real buyers, if they're coming from New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, you might hear trades. So how many trades were there, right? So instead of real buyers, if they're coming from the Northeast, you might say we had 17 properties trade last month. This is where we have to speak the language that they understand. As professionals, whose job is it to get better? It's ours. It's our job to change. We're okay so far? All right, so next. Listing presentations. We're no longer doing listing presentations. Guess what happened to the listing presentation? It died. She's excited, right? No longer doing listing presentations. What are we doing instead? We're doing marketing consultations. Why? Because what does every seller think when you say I'm going to list your home? They think you're just going to put it in the MLS. That's it. On a list of other properties, right? If we can address the concern before they announce the concern, it's going to sound like we've done this before. So we are going to have a marketing consultation. Marketing consultation. Why do we have a marketing consultation? Because somewhere in your consultation, somewhere in your advertising, in your marketing, I want you to use a very specific phrase, a very specific terminology. You're going to professionally market homes to the world and get them sold. If you're working with sellers, that language right there was given to me by someone far smarter and much more successful than I am. But it has made me a lot of peanuts and pennies. I professionally market homes to the world and get them sold. I professionally market homes to the world and get them sold. In one sentence, I have addressed almost every issue that a luxury seller has, that any seller has. We're speaking specifically to the luxury niche. I professionally market homes to the world and get them sold. How do you do that? I have a we'll discuss that during our marketing consultation, right? Another phrase I want you to use for the seller side. So we're just in the vocabulary. We haven't even started yet, all right? So has everyone picked up at least one thing that they can already change in their business that they can use? All right, so marketing consultation, professionally market homes to the world and get them sold. I want you all to use the terminology megaphone to the marketplace. Megaphone to the marketplace. As marketers, we get paid more than listers of properties. My biggest value to a seller is that I professionally market homes to who? The world. So now we have to figure out how do we make that true. And we'll talk about that a little later. Which sites, how do we do it, right? But what's the last part? And get them sold. So we've set that expectation just in a conversation. So if before today, if someone asks you, what do you do for a living? What would you say? I said before today. Y'all know y'all didn't have that yesterday. Come on. Before today, we probably had some elaborate, long elevator pitch that we've been taught.